Welcome to the Copperfield Electric podcast. If you live in Southern California and especially here in Orange County, the question of whether you'll eventually own an electric vehicle is, well, it's rapidly becoming a question of when.
Exactly.
But for that EV adoption to truly feel convenient, the infrastructure has to be ready, at home. And that transition from relying on a gas station to just plugging in your garage, that's the most critical leap.
It is.
So today we are doing a deep dive into the logistics, the costs, and the infrastructure hurdles around home EV charging. We're specifically analyzing the recent announcement of a $499 EV charger installation discount for Orange County residents and the electrical experts offering it, Copperfield Electric.
And that's a perfect framing. Our mission for you, the learner, today is to treat this opportunity as more than just a coupon. It's really a case study in home electrical readiness. We need to dissect the full value proposition. So what does that $499 standard installation truly cover, and where do the infrastructure risks lie? And most importantly, we're going to break down how to stack federal tax credits with local utility rebates to offset that total cost, especially if you find yourself needing that inevitable electrical panel upgrade.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah.
Because when you're talking about high voltage dedicated circuits in your home, trust isn't just a nice to have. It's foundational.
It has to be.
So before we even talked about the price, let's establish the context. Who is Copperfield Electric? Why are they the ones positioned to handle this kind of, technical job? At their core, they're a family-owned business. They provide 24-hour electrical service across greater Southern California, but with a really strong focus on Orange County. We're talking about areas like Irvine, Anaheim, Santa Ana, Costa Mesa, and Newport Beach. They really emphasize being local while also offering that crucial round-the-clock service.
And that local presence, combined with their verified credentials, that gives you immediate assurance, which is essential for any job that's touching your main electrical panel.
Right.
Their license, number 1094740, it shows they're fully licensed, bonded, and insured. For a homeowner, that means the work is guaranteed, the team is highly trained and background checked, and they stand behind their installations with a 100% satisfaction guarantee.
So they're established.
Exactly. This confirms they aren't just some fly-by-night operation capitalizing on the EV boom. They're established experts in residential electrical systems.
And speaking of those residential systems, their service scope really highlights a necessary breadth of experience for this type of installation. I mean, while EV chargers are the topic today, Copperfield Electric handles everything, from new electrical for accessory dwelling units, ADUs, to complex panel replacements, general lighting, and 247 emergency services.
And that broader experience is the hidden value here. It really is. Installing an EV charger isn't just about running a wire. It's about integrating a new, massive electrical load into an existing system. So an electrician who specializes in troubleshooting and major panel upgrades is exactly who you want, evaluating whether your home can safely handle a level 2 charger before they even start.
That makes a lot of sense.
And that 24/7 availability, it's not just for emergencies. It signals a high level of operational readiness. They get that if your home charging setup fails, it completely disrupts your whole schedule. So they prioritize fast, competitive, and reliable service.
Okay, so that foundation of trust and broad expertise really sets the table. Now let's zoom in on that specific $499 offer because it's drawing a lot of attention in Orange County.
Yeah, and this is entirely focused on getting homeowners set up with level 2 charging. And we have to be really clear on why that distinction matters for daily EV use.
Okay, let's break that down. Level 1 versus level 2.
Most EVs, they come with a cord that plugs into a standard wall outlet, a 120 volt, that's level 1, and it's a trickle. It gives you maybe 3 to 5 miles of charge per.
Barely enough for a commute.
Exactly. Now, level 2 charging, which requires a dedicated 240 volt circuit, is dramatically more efficient. It delivers roughly 10 to 20 miles of range per hour.
That's a huge difference.
It's the difference between charging for 2 days just to recover your commute and plugging in at dinner, confident you'll wake up to 100% charge. It shifts charging from a logistical headache to, a simple nightly habit.
So assuming I've gone out and bought my level 2 charger like a Tesla wall connector or a charge point unit, what precisely does Copperfield Electric guarantee to deliver for that $499 standard installation price?
Okay, so they provide a really clear, comprehensive labor package. It's designed to ensure safety and compliance. The $499 standard install covers the initial site evaluation, and critically, they handle the permit process.
Oh, that's big.
It's a huge time saver. Getting permits in different OC cities can be a nightmare for homeowners. So the labor also includes installing the charger unit, setting up a dedicated circuit, which means an isolated breaker just for that charger, and doing all the code-compliant wiring. The whole package is managed end-to-end by a certified residential EV installer.
So it's done right, passes inspection the first time.
That's the idea.
They're outlining that scope very clearly, which is great, so there are no hidden costs in the standard labor.
Yeah.
But we have to be realistic. This offer is for a standard installation. And with the older housing stock in Orange County, standard often means, well, needs more work. So if I'm a listener in a 1970s home in, say, Mission Viejo, what are the chances that this $499 is just an opening bid for a much, much larger project?
That is the critical question, and that's where the transparency of the offer becomes so valuable. The $499 offer is strictly limited. It's for homes that already have the necessary reserve capacity in their existing electrical panel to add a new dedicated 40 or 50 amp circuit.
Okay, so if my panel is already maxed out, I'm out of luck on that price.
Right. If your home, like many mid-century and older homes, only has a 100 amp service panel, adding a level 2 charger alongside your AC, your modern appliances, you'll often push right over the safety threshold.
And Copperfield Electric is upfront about this.
They are. The offer is first come, first served, and if that site evaluation reveals that you need an electric panel upgrade, which is a significant job, they will provide a full itemized quote for that upgrade before proceeding. You aren't committed to a thing until you understand the true cost to make your home safe and compliant.
That clarity is essential because, I mean, let's be objective. That panel upgrade is likely the most costly variable in this whole thing. It can be a multi-$1,000 expense.
It often is.
So how can we use the array of incentives out there to mitigate that sticker shock? How can we stack these savings?
Right. This is where we shift from installation mechanics to financial strategy. Homeowners have some powerful tools at their disposal here, beyond just the installer's discount. The primary one is the federal tax credit, specifically the one for alternative fuel vehicle refueling property.
And how does that work?
It allows you to recover up to 30% of the total cost of the project. And here's the key insight. That 30% can often apply not just to the charger and the $499 labor, but also to the associated electrical infrastructure upgrades.
You mean like the panel upgrade itself?
Yes, exactly. Provided it's necessary for the safe installation and operation of the EV charger. Now, it does cap out at $1,000, which won't cover a full panel replacement, but it certainly softens the blow and validates the investment.
Okay, so the federal tax credit gets applied when you file your taxes. What about more immediate local relief? How do those utility and regional rebates interact with the federal one?
They interact beautifully, but you do have to be strategic. They often have different application rules and caps. Local utility rebates, like those from Southern California Edison or various air quality management district programs, often provide a direct cash rebate or a bill credit.
And those are usually first come, first served.
Usually, yes.
Yeah.
They can run out of funding, so you have to apply promptly. And don't overlook assistance programs either. Copperfield highlights that Level 2 charging assistance programs exist for income-qualified households, which really helps lower the barrier to entry.
And imagine navigating all that paperwork is a challenge.
It can be, and that's where an installer like Copperfield is invaluable. They have expertise in navigating this. They can provide the personalized support and documentation you need to make sure you maximize those stacked savings. It really takes the burden off the homeowner.
So let's pivot back to that common hurdle, the panel upgrade. We know many Orange County homes, especially those built before 1990, were designed around 100 amp service. They're already maxed out, running modern central air, big appliances.
Maybe a hot tub.
Maybe a hot tub, right? So adding a 40 or 50 amp load for an EV charger without an upgrade is not just non-compliant, it's a real safety risk.
Exactly. The issue is capacity and safety. Older panels, they just lack the empty breaker space or, more commonly, the overall amperage rating to safely handle a powerful Level 2 charger. Copperfield specializes in evaluating that capacity quickly.
And if an upgrade is needed,
Then they're not just swapping out breakers, they're often installing a modern 200 amp service panel. This upgrade is a major infrastructure investment. It ensures the whole home can safely handle all present and future energy demands, from the EV charger today to maybe solar panels or heat pumps tomorrow.
and that transparency you mentioned before is key here because the cost difference is so vast.
Absolutely. They ensure their team explains the whole process, the costs, the timelines, the inspections, and critically, how to leverage those rebate opportunities that might be tied specifically to the panel upgrade itself. The goal is long-term reliability.
Because the charger is only as reliable as the system behind it.
Precisely. And they know the permitting quirks of the local OC areas, and most installations, once the infrastructure is ready, are done in a single day.
That deep dive into the infrastructure demands and the financial levers, that really provides the analytical weight the learner needs. We've seen that the $499 offer isn't just a discount. It's an access point to a fully permitted, code-compliant Level 2 installation backed by certified experts. It addresses the two main pain points of home EV charging, ensuring long-term safety and minimizing that upfront cost.
And their dedication to service remains strong across the entire Orange County region, from Irvine and Santa Ana to Anaheim, Huntington Beach, Costa Mesa, and Mission Viejo. They're delivering the high-quality installation that's necessary to reliably harness the efficiency of Level 2 charging.
Which brings us to our final thought for you to ponder. We've established that Level 2 charging often necessitates a pretty significant electrical panel upgrade, especially in older homes. So the question shifts from focusing just on the EV. What long-term compounding value does that mandatory electrical panel upgrade, which might feel like an expense today, provide for the future-proofing of your entire home's energy infrastructure? Are you just installing a charger, or are you actually preparing your home for a decade of energy independence through solar, batteries, and the next generation of smart appliances? Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into EV home charging and the logistics of the $499 installation discount.